This is True OF Entertainment.
And we're back.
Wow, good. Wow.
Yeah. Let's yeah. Start. I mean, yeah. Oh, maybe the snow was getting in the wires, Paul. Who knows?
Yeah, it's good. We're all good. No, it's weather's getting nicer and everything's fine.
Yeah.
We're getting right along. You know, we have different artists all the time on our show. We've the last 3 years and now in our fourth year. It's a third year? Fourth year.
Third year.
Third
Can I just interrupt you, Paul, and say that that your images that you normally uploaded have not come onto this feed yet? So just sorry to interrupt you. There we go. Well, we're back to normal. Yeah. So you were saying 3 years, everybody we have on the show.
Yeah, you know, and
not the first time I've had technical issues. So that's
well, they happen, you know. But very privileged to be able to talk to artists from all across Canada, and you know, they're all their journeys are so different. But today we have a journey that's very, very different for a lot of artists that have never had to go through this kind of a journey. The journey of endurance, determination, inspiration, as well. Debra Kessler is with us, and she's got her Bachelor of Fine Arts, but she was an active painter, mural painter, drawing and such up until about 1999, and then she had a farm accident. Deborah she lost both of her arms, and the recovery period and different things she went through, but she was so determined to be an artist and continue her art career. As a Métis artist, she lived in Manitoba, which is in central Canada in the prairies, moved to BC on the island, or in Vancouver area. Maybe it's on the island, sorry. It's her journey. That's what we're going to talk about. And she's a mouth painter, and it's amazing. I cannot believe that, you know, the dexterity, and the things that you can do if you endure. And I really, really love her work, and I read to talk with her. She's an inspiration to me. It truly is. Okay. We'll maybe bring Deborah in here, and let's
bring her in, and then I'll just jump straight off again. I think straight afterwards. Just say hello to Deborah.
Deborah. Yeah.
You can hear everything's working now, Deborah.
Yeah.
Okay, super. Guys, have a super show, and speak to you at the end probably. Till then, bye-bye.
Thanks. Well, good morning to you. It's an early morning where you are.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we had a little technical thing, but I think we've got it all solved now. And you know, I really appreciate you spending some time with us today for this little bit of a talk on your work and your journey. And as I mentioned in the opening, that you're an inspiration to a lot of people. It just really, really appreciate you spending some time with us to talk about your journey. Can you tell us bring us up to speed a little bit? I mean, I did mention a little bit in the bio on the front end, a bit about your early days, like you're a painter drawer, and you know, you did things like everybody else did, right? The normal way, right?
Yeah. So I always drew when I was a child.
Yeah.
So my dad made me a deal when I was young that every sketchbook I filled, he would buy me a new one.
Oh.
Which was a real incentive.
Yeah. Well, the price of sketchbooks now, I wish my dad would have been buying me sketchbooks.
Yeah, I know. And what he did is he turned around and he did it because I would draw on everything. If it was paper, I drew on it.
Yeah.
So it was his way of stopping me from drawing on other things.
the wall in your bedroom and such. But, well, the inspiration, where did they come from? The farm life, like on the farm, and because you were on a farm, and did that inspire a lot of what you were doing?
most of my life was spent living in the country or on a farm. Yeah. And nature is a big inspiration for me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I see beauty in the everyday.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so I want to bring that beauty to other people.
Right. No, it's you know, I think artists like to share. They like to share their visual imagery that, and I guess it's your proud Métis heritage that you have as well. Does that is that part of what your work is involved with? Is that understanding that and going through and understanding where that came from and is part of your life?
Yeah, that's something I'm still kind of struggling with and working with.
Hmm.
One of the things I'm working on is trying to bring contemporary and Métis and put them together.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that's something I've been struggling with.
Right.
But I'm beginning to see some success and
Well,
working.
yeah. So this, I guess, I see it a little. There are two types of artists as a Métis. One is painting your heritage. Like there's heritage painting, and then there's just painting. As a Métis artist, you're just painting as a painter for yourself. But one is your lineage, right? It's just painting where you came from and what it means to be part of a community that is unique in Canada as an Indigenous artist, right? And more, I guess, more as a Métis artist. And we all try to understand that. And now you were from Manitoba initially, that's where the farm
Yes.
was. And now you're living in BC, which
Yes.
is a very different heritage there as far as Indigenous types of work that are being done. What do you call the style that you paint in? Like, if
I don't even really think I have a style that I
Mhm.
paint in. I play around with trying to mix ledger art and the plain style art. So a little bit of woodland, a little bit of ledger, and mixed it with contemporary.
Okay, yeah,
So, and one of the things I do is I go into the schools with the school kids and I teach them about what kind of art is done on the prairies and further east. Because in Manitoba, you have the woodland X-ray style and the ledger art.
great.
And so I teach the kids about that. And then I have them do a painting project with me.
Okay,
But they're the I I'm kind of sneaky because they think, oh, I get to try this, and I go, but you have to paint the way I paint,
yeah.
and I make them paint using their mouths.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a really good learning experience. And I talked about being resilient and being determined and not giving up.
yeah. Well, I can see that in your journey that you've gone through. I'm going to get David to start our pictures up here, and we can. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna go there. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. Now, we've got a strange and different format happening here. I don't know what's going on here, David, but we've got picture in a picture happening here with our little inset. I think that is a control thing. I don't know. They've changed some of the formats on our format here, but maybe David can figure that out in the meantime. Well, we can, because normally it's just our pictures on the side, not the slide. I think it's a slide view is showing up on the left side. But anyway, so this looking at this image, I think maybe some of this is my issue. What I did when I created the slide format, it's a horizontal, a lot wider format, so it might be the actual slide format that I created. Anyway, it still shows what we're doing. Can you explain a little bit what we're doing here? This is
Oh, yeah,
in
about
your
painting.
work, yeah. I mean the imagery as well, right? Where this image, it says spirit bear, and it's I've left the wording at the bottom, silk painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a picture that's painted on silk with dye,
Okay.
and I wanted to bring in the contemporary concept of using schematized naturalism for the landscape, and then adding an X-ray bear to it.
Right.
And the bear is really important to me because the bear is my clan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm part of Bear Clan. So
Right.
You see bears a lot in my paintings because I try to bring something about me into the painting.
Right. Yeah. No,
And
it's
I kind of try to abstract the landscape, but still make it recognizable.
right. No. So is this that's happening? Is that is this a compilation of the two locations? I mean, we have some mountains in the background, but in northern Manitoba, there is a polar bear as well, right? There's a bear that is part of that as well.
I lived for 5 years up north.
Right.
So I was traveling all across the Northwest Territories for a job I had. So
Mm-hmm.
I got to know the northern landscape as well. And where I live in Manitoba, where I lived on the farm in Manitoba was on the edge of the White Shell Provincial Park, which is part of the
Right.
Canadian Shield.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of, like, it's an invented abstract of a landscape. So it's a bit of the mountains, but it's also part of the Canadian Shield and also part of the northern landscape.
Right. So with silk painting, do you use wax resists a little bit as well? And
Yeah, I do.
yeah, yeah. So that's a whole other process is learning painting with dyes and people understanding how that is done. But it does create some beautiful pieces.
Yeah.
And I am still kind of I don't want to press any buttons here. Anyway, we're gonna move on to slide two. I got slide issues here. Oh, back. We're gonna jumping ahead too far. Back to bears. Yeah. So these, can you tell us a little bit about this one? Now, this is a watercolor on cotton rag paper,
Actually, no,
and
this one's an acrylic. Oh, it
it
should
says
be
at the
acrylic.
bottom. Oh, okay. Well, it's
I
acrylic.
might have
I'm just
mislabeled it. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I think that's fine. Yeah. The when you look at these things, you're giving a feeling of the North Country for sure. Like these are your polar bears.
Yep.
And that's whether it be family or animal families, getting along. Polar bears always look so loving and cuddly, and they're actually not that. They're kind of vicious. They can be if they depending on hunger and stuff. But the cuddly bear, can you tell us a little bit about where this come from and the meaning of maybe what you're talking about in here? Is that like the Northern Lights a little bit that might be happening? And
Yeah, there's some northern lights in the sky. And I've incorporated Métis dot painting. So I painted the image and then I put dots over top
okay, yeah,
as a way to give it depth. And when I lived up north, I used to watch the polar bears. I'd be sitting someplace safe and I'd watch them because they are quite aggressive.
they
And
can be, yeah,
yeah, and I noticed that in the family groups, it was usually a mother and children.
right.
And the cubs would climb all over her and she'd just lay there and accept it. And in some ways, though, the elders up north say that's a teaching for how to be with your children.
Right.
To give them the quality time and let them spend that time with you, even though you might not want it.
Yeah. No, sorry,
That's okay.
playing with stuff here. I'm trying to get the picture. I'm afraid to click a button here and remove that sidebar, and it'll remove everything. But
And so, like, I put 3 little bear cubs in it because for a long time, I was a single mother with 3 kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I try to put a bit of reflection of myself in each painting.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of artists do that, but they don't do it with on purpose. It just happens that it's like reflections of self in the works. I think I think those are really important things, is to include a human aspect, or it creates a connection.
Yeah.
A lot of times, whether there's a physical person in there or not doesn't matter, but the symbolism is there, and working with that, I think that's it's a lovely piece. It sparkles. I think
Yeah.
I think it's that pointillism aspect that is giving it that feeling. It goes in there. Here's the fox.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you showed us initially in that first bear this more of an X-ray look inside the animal, and you got this. I mean, it's really symbolic. This piece, you can make out what maybe this is about. The pressures of urban things on rural or on natural life forms.
Yeah. Like for part of the time while I was a single parent, I lived in the city of Winnipeg, and that's the skyline of Winnipeg.
Okay. Yeah.
And one of the things that where I lived in Winnipeg, there was a lot of foxes. And so it was wild meeting up with urbanization.
Okay.
So I call it the urban fox.
Yeah, makes sense. Hang on, don't leave. I'm going to try and click this thing here, and I'm going to take a chance. No, that wasn't the one. I'm trying to remove this sidebar. I have no idea why the sidebar is there, but David, you're going to have to help us with this a little bit. Maybe you can bring. I can't hear you, David, but
just going to jump in and say it's not a sidebar. It's actually what it looks like on a telephone. Because don't worry about it. What the imagery which is in that. The image that we're looking at now, the normal image will remain for the people who want to watch it on TV, and people who want to watch it on the phone have their own, because it changes the format automatically, so you get to see the art more than you get to see the speakers.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, people. Sorry, everyone. This is the first time This is the first time we've been doing this format.
Yeah. Well, I kind of bushwhacked you a bit on that one, but don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Just can you put us back onto our feed for our images? And can you bring up there we go. Now I understand better. Sorry, guys. Because we're seeing everything on our screen here. But anyway, while we're producing it. Anyway, back to the fox and Winnipeg. Yeah, there we go. So the city is actually impacting the fox and in its lifestyle. I understand that. Yeah. So looking for you look for those symbolisms in your wildlife when you're looking for. I mean, you can paint the animals, but now you're moving it to another stage of making a response. You're making you're messaging in your work, and is that becoming? I guess the validity of that. Where's that? Why? I guess is where the importance of it.
Well, I did some of it in university too, where I did nature clashing with urbanization and civilization.
Right.
I guess some of it comes from, like, I have another degree in anthropology. So some of it comes from that, I think, where I'm always looking at how nature and our relationships impact each other. And like, I see, like, living in a city and then living on a farm, you always see that. You're always aware of that.
Right. Yeah.
That it's a push and pull between nature and man, right?
Yeah.
So
I kind of go through some of that myself a little bit in some of my work, and probably more so in the last 15 years is looking at the impact of coyotes living closer to the city, and the wildlife that do things, and trying to make I guess a bit of statement about those things. And I think it's important to bring that up the realization that this is actually happening, and you can change it if you are aware of what's going on.
Yeah, where I live right now, we have a creek and forest behind us, and there's about 100 houses in the community. And the day of garbage day, the bear makes his rounds. He goes down every single street.
Yeah.
Right. And, if you're not careful, you can almost walk right into him. He's that accustomed to people.
Right.
So, and we have raccoons here in the park and deer, and, and here's constant struggle with people planting plants and the deer eating them.
Yeah. Well, I think this impact is happening all over. I mean, deer are within every little community. I know where we are, they'll come right into the village or the town and they'll eat your plants. And, it's people feed them in the winter. They like them around, but a lot of them are getting away from the predators too. They know there's safety in that community more so than out in the wild. Yeah. They become urbanized. Like you're right, they're almost, you can walk right up to them almost, which is not a good thing even with deer.
Yeah.
But then we get to these pictures, and what stage are these pieces done relative to your other work? Right? Is this a teaching piece, or is this just an understanding piece? It has a very when I see it on the lined paper, and can you explain where this is going?
Well, it's from the concept of ledger art. Historically, when they incarcerated the Indigenous people in Canada and the States, they would give them old ledgers and red pencils and black pencils.
Okay.
And so some of the people would do art, and it became known as ledger art. And it's a style that they use Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, like on the plateau area.
Yeah.
So for the Plains Indians, right?
So they're not really large pieces of work because of the size of the ledger.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
So like this one's 11 by 14.
Right. Yeah.
And so to do this one, I had to get ledger paper and then had to write the ledger on it.
Yeah.
And so I wrote like a historic ledger. I found copies of historic ledgers. I kind of made up my own ledger, right?
Yeah.
And then I had to tone the page. So I toned it with watercolor and ink.
Yeah.
And then I had gessoed it. And then I painted over top of it.
Yeah.
With acrylic.
Yeah. Well, and you need the gesso to get the white of the page when you go that route, and when you do things, just to reclaim that surface, but leaving the ledger color as the background. I mean,
that's right.
It feels very prairie, like it feels dry, and the coloration is beautiful. It just has that warm tone that's just wow. And I love the idea, because I was wondering, you said you're a ledger artist, and I was wondering, how does that, I haven't heard of that before. And just like, where did that come from? And I can see, it's availability of paper probably in the day.
Yeah.
And they said, we have these old ledgers here, paint on these, right?
Yeah.
And you try to figure out how to work with what you've been given. And so this is based on a chicken dance, I guess, grass.
The grass dance, yeah.
Grass dance, okay. Yeah.
And where I'm living now, I take this into the kids to show them an example of ledger art. And when they see it, they tell me that bird is fake. So then we get into a discussion about how there's certain types of animals that they may have never seen in Canada.
Yeah. And also understanding that in BC, Salish art is predominant in the style,
yeah.
The Hadegawayan style of painting. hard-edged, symbolic symbols of raven, bear, whatever the animals, which is very different than the depiction of these animals and birds as you move through woodland. And that they're still outlined, and they have, but then a lot of times they have images within images. In other words, there's a bird inside a bird, and they do a little bit of that storytelling through those things. So is your work involved in storytelling yet, or are they singular at the moment?
I do some stuff that's storytelling.
Yeah.
This one is about the grass dance, where the man is imitating the birds.
Right. Yeah.
So because that's what the grass dance pretty much is about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it is a little bit of storytelling.
Yeah. I think sometimes the story's there, it's just not verbalized. A lot of times they're doing that, and in a lot of works. And I think that's how good work lasts a long time. When the story isn't revealed all in one in one conversation. Yeah. And we'll just go on here now, and then we jump to the traditional the prairie, and the symbols that were part of the prairie that are disappearing. Is that important to you at all? Is the understanding how things come and go, or new technologies?
Well, yeah, because my anthropology degree is actually in archaeology.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, looking at things from the past and then seeing how they disappear, like we're seeing an end of an era, because in the prairies, the big grain belt is no longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they still produce grain, but not like they did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, there'd be trucks filled with grain lined up at these grain elevators.
That's right.
All summer long.
Yeah. Yeah. The moving of grain has changed dramatically. Whether it's more efficient or not, I don't know. I guess it is. Different grain handlers now doing the work. It's not all done through a central location anymore. And people understanding that when you produce grain, you have to move it from the prairies east and west to get it onto ships that is moved around the world, I guess, in feeding people. Yeah. So, yeah. So I love it's these things are, they're becoming very symbolic, and they have been for years. But I mean, the grain elevator is unique to the prairies, as well as the states as well.
They're tall sentinels that announce what town you're in.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of them. Yeah. Yeah. They'd have the town or the village marked on the side of everyone had one at one time. The rail lines have since been pulled out of a lot of the small communities. Yep. And it's trucked now. Everything is trucked by, yeah. And then we jump back you're back on the West Coast. I think one of the last weeks we had another one from the East Coast, and the little dory that was moored or tied up on the beach, and yet this one is West Coast, and it looks different than the one on the East Coast. Very similar in design, but very very different. In the style of boat and things. Are boats kind of, I guess, unique to you, or I don't know? Are they vessels that you want to travel on, or do they become part of what your lifestyle is in BC? I don't know. I'm asking, like, it's an anomaly of the thing. Is it just the shape or the vehicle that it is that inspired you?
I'm not big on boating.
Yeah.
It's hard for me, number one, to get into a boat because I also damaged my legs, so I can only move them so far, right?
Right.
I can walk, but it's limited to how high I can step.
Right.
But sometimes there's a few beaches where you'll see a boat on the beach, and it's someone who's come from a sailboat that's off the shore.
Yeah.
And they've come into town, right? Like to do shopping or to be in the urban center.
Yeah.
And
so they're still used as vehicles, like, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an interesting thing because you don't see it a lot, but when you do see it, the boats are colorful.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered if the color has a reflection on how our winters are so gray.
Mm-hmm.
So
Could
people are painting their boats and their houses brighter colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People understand that living on the island, a lot of times the winters are quite rainy. There's quite a bit of rain. What I really like about this is how the sand is almost symbolic of the ocean, like, and of the water up against it. So it's been there for a bit. It's kind of, yeah, I've always liked boats, and they always transported my mind. Who came in that? Where is it going? Is in the Salish art and Hattagwayan art, the boat is very symbolic, whether it's filled with animals and birds, and it's this transportation thing, that moving from one territory to another, or celebratory thing, whether there's a different things that they use. It was the boat connecting. It was a connection to everything.
Yeah, and for the Métis people, it's a canoe.
Right, it is.
We used to travel by canoe.
In the prairies for sure, and the canoe was light, and they could move it around. It was either made with, I guess, birch bark in the day as well, or skins, I guess.
Yeah, and there's the York boat, which was very Métis as well.
Right. Yeah, moving up the Saskatchewan River, moving hides and things to the trading posts. So now we go into this is a very fun piece. I mean, this is different than your other ones. Like, can you tell us? It feels very Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Is it a celebratory for that? Did you see that? It says before the snow.
Yeah, it's definitely fall based.
Yeah, yeah. It feels October to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I think but it also brings out that, when I start seeing a cat on a roof, and the moon and some of those things, a few fall leaves on it, it gives you a feeling of a certain moment.
Yeah, I I was looking to do a cottage style picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across this very unusual picture of this building, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
So I drew the building, but I wanted to change it. And I have a thing for whimsical type motifs.
That's the word. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
I kind of like the humor and just the fantasy concept of it, where it takes you someplace else.
Right. Yeah.
So I decided to, add a full moon to it, make it almost like dusk kind of setting. And then I kept looking at it going, it's missing something. So I added a cat.
Well, the cat really changes the context. It feels very, like you said, it has that end of October feeling, that a little celebratory thing. But it's the building is very Germanic in its design, and just with the crisscross post and beam style building that it is. But it's it's nice to do things that take you off the main track sometimes, where you're concentrating so much on certain things that you're doing, and then you need something just to distract you for a bit, so you can get back to what you like to do. It's fun to do these things.
Yeah.
Another one, that's the cottage one here.
Yeah, that's called a sugar shack. It's made after some of the parts of Manitoba where they grow maples and harvest the sugar. What they do is they build a little building called a cabin, which means cabin basically, but that's what the Métis call it, cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they render their sugar, and that's where they go in to warm up and when they're harvesting, right? So
when the sugar's starting to run.
Yeah.
So that usually starts in March, usually, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
February, March.
End of February, March.
Yeah. It starts warming up. Yeah. It's and maple sugar goes right through the east, right? Ontario and Quebec. But here's a loving animal. I just love him. Yeah. Now you mentioned this was one of your dogs.
Yeah, we had she was Belgian Shepherd mixed with wolf. hybrid dog.
Wow.
And she had some really interesting markings and very interesting facial features.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do this picture of her, so that's what I did.
Yeah. And I've always said this, it's really hard to get the feeling of that animal and the love that they have for an animal. A lot of times an artist can't get that. They can draw the animal, but it's not that being itself, because there's a um, for lack of word, there's this human aspect within it, that it is a personality, unique, and it's unique. The family tend to see that, the love and the connection that's in that, and it, whether it be just the look, the eyes, and I guess the gesture of that animal,
Yeah, to me, the secret is the eyes. If you can capture their eyes,
hmm
you're halfway there.
Is that kind of the starting point for these kind of? You start at the eyes, get the eyes right, then you can do the rest.
Yeah, when I do animals, I start with the eyes, and when I do portraits of people, I start with the eyes.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the markings on her. Is it a her? Her?
It
Or
was
him?
a her, yeah.
Yeah. I love
So
those markings. Yeah.
yeah, she was almost marbled in her coloration.
Really? Oh, wow. That would have been nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah, and to do this, I did the background of the dog is done with ink,
Okay. Yeah.
and then I took a big pen.
Oh, really? Like
And
a black Bic pen.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and all the little lines are black Bic pen.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Yeah. It's another one with pen work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's it's getting this crosshatch, where it's got the right. If you over crosshatch, it fills in solid on you, right?
Yeah.
You've got to get the right value of crosshatch for things to pop off the page, and especially when you do a full background in a crosshatch manner. So when you do that, do you rotate the page when you have to?
No.
Oh, no.
I have an easel that moves up and down.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering, because I know things have to sometimes be changed for what you need to do, right? Make things work the best way you.
For final lines like cross hatching, if I rotate it, it changes the arc of the line.
Right.
So if I'm cross hatching a big area like that, I have to keep it orientated the same way all the time.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, the line will arc in a different angle.
That's true. Okay. I guess the kids learn that when they have to do a session with you, right? When they have to draw and do something with their pen.
It's really hard to get a straight line because your head only moves so far.
Right. Yeah. Things you never think about. I mean, really, it's hard enough to draw a straight line anyway, right? And that's one of the bad lines. No, I can't even draw a straight line. Can't draw a straight line with a ruler, right? One of those things.
Yeah.
But and I love to see that you're not using a ruler. I mean, that's just it.
Well, it's almost impossible. Well, I guess it would be possible, but for me to hold a ruler and then draw a line, I can't do it.
Yeah. No, they have ruling devices that mechanical rulers that draftsmen use all the time, that they can push up and down, and you can draw with them.
That looks too artificial.
It gets you, very mechanical feeling. Yeah. You lose that feeling. There we go. This is part of your farm life. I can see this, the connection that from your life on the farm. Yeah. So do you use the photos? Do you use photos that for reference? Is that what you're doing, or some memory things that you use?
I use photos, but I also I use not just one photo. I use a lot of photos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So because one photo, you end up with too flat an image.
Okay. Yeah. No,
but some of it's from my memory too. We had these two cows who used to always nuzzle each other. They were raised together as calves, and
they
were constantly nuzzling each other.
Yeah, they were buddies from day one. Yeah. No, it's nice seeing the affection between animals. I mean, when you see that, you know that life's good, right? They're not really a lot of stress because they have each other. It's sort of like a friend having two dogs rather than just one. Uh, there's an understanding that that dog needs another dog around them, not just people. It's sort of like having a single child in your family, and all they speak like adults at the age of 2 or 3
Yeah.
or 4, and which sounds really great, but really they miss a piece of the connection of kids siblings the same age or similar. Yeah, but these guys are just out your back door. I know you were. So where does this come in? Like you love this fantasial part of storytelling? Is that it says on the bottom, Jasmine Dragon Perils for 2.
Dragon pearls for tea.
Pearls,
For
sorry.
2, yeah.
Yeah.
So dragon pearl is a type of tea.
Okay.
So basically, I've been playing around. I took creative writing when I took my fine arts degree.
Right.
And I've been working on some children's stories. So this is a concept I have for one of the children's stories.
Right. No,
It's about 2 dragons.
2 dragons. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. Well, that's interesting. It's probably interesting to read something. Is it okay? Kids book. What kind of age group would be interested?
I usually try to write for about the 7 to 12.
7 to 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just started writing, and I've been working on one book. It's almost finished.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a cat who wants to be a gargoyle.
Okay. Yeah. So do you write the story first and then do your imagery to the story? Yeah.
Yeah. But the dragon, when I came up with this idea, and I didn't want to lose the idea, and I thought, well, what would it look like if 2 dragons were having tea? And so I came up with the idea and did the painting.
Yeah. Well, definitely the one that can hold the cup is going to be important. The other one can sip from the cup, have a shared tea. But yeah, no, it's nice. Like I said, it's nice to have distractions, so you're not just painting paintings, and understanding that you can do a book illustration and you can reach out and be creative in different areas. There's a lot of artists that are musicians, writers as well, and it's nice that these kind of mesh together and one feeds off the other one. So you're part of the Mouth and Foot Painters Association of Canada.
Yeah.
How does that work with you? Like the interaction? Is there Zoom sessions that you have with these groups, or is there a call for entries? Or
well, what it is it's an organization where we work collectively. So we have a commitment. So we have a contract and we have a commitment, and like I have to give them so many paintings a year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And what they do is it's like runs like a collective, and what they do is if they like something from that year, then they will reproduce it as cards, puzzles, and other aftermarket items. Okay. And in return, they give us a scholarship.
Okay.
So that we can keep learning and keep improving our practice.
Right. So does this become like a sounding board for you to see what other ones are doing and a connection to other people that are doing similar types of art around the world or Canada?
Yeah, not as much with that. I find that the other organizations I belong to are better sounding board.
Okay. So like the Federation of Canadian Artists, for instance, or your SANIC group locally in your region, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No. And you do enter their shows, and you enter work for their shows. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sandwich Peninsula did a big show last April. They have over 400 or 500 members.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
And Studio 30 has done 3 or 4 shows that I've been in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is good to get out there and see an audience and see the people and talk with them about work. They really start understanding, your work and where you're coming from, and and sharing. I think that's really important. Uh, this guy already had tea, and maybe one of the dragons.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I love the skin, the feeling of the skin, the texture. There's that feeling that it's a little pebbly. It just gotta. Not that I would ever know. I mean, I'm trying to. I think I'd be staying away from this guy. He's just. But,
Well, actually, it's a picture of a T-Rex.
yeah.
I did it for a friend. He is really, really fascinated with Jurassic Park. Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you can watch them over and over and over again.
I think I watched it once. They said, "Okay, that's enough."
Yeah.
But I think it's it's a beautiful. I mean, it's a thing that, it's got a. I don't know. It's got a. There's a vibrance to it, but it has a. There's a gnash to the teeth. It feels. He just finished something, but no, beautiful piece. And I left this one for last because you know, bear and salmon, and that cycle of the salmon and the bear, they're connected.
Yeah.
Like they're one dependent on each other.
Yeah.
Have you see these videos of them fishing. It's just pretty amazing to watch. And they're fussy too, some of them, especially if there's a lot of salmon. I think some of them, but anyway, I just I put them on the end. Can you speak to this one a little bit?
Yeah, I went to Adams River
Mhm.
salmon run. I don't know, it's in the Kamloops area,
Right.
and it's one of the biggest salmon runs in BC.
Yeah.
And when you go there, you cross a bridge that goes over the Adams River, actually. And when you look out the car window, look down at the river, the water is almost reddish color
Really.
from the amount of salmon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you go there, they've really changed it now. They put all kinds of walkways and barricades and stuff so people can't go in the water. But when you go there, you can stand there on the shore and you can watch the bear. And there's like lots of bears, like a whole group of them.
Yeah.
And they're diving their heads into the water and they come up with the salmon. Like it's just amazing to watch. And they don't care about the people there. They're so focused on the salmon.
Yeah.
That they don't care about the people.
Yeah, no, it's very rich. I mean, for them, it's great food. They love it. Well, actually, the salmon is connected to the whole land as well.
Yeah.
They've shown that a lot of the trees, they've tapped into them, and they've found that there is salmon DNA in the tree. So that's why they grow so big, and they've had permanent fertilizer as the salmon spawn and then they die. That goes into the fertilizing the trees that are around them. And it's quite the connection is quite strong. How everything is. I think it's really important that artists, if they have that ability to spread that, to understanding our connection to everything. Everything is connected, and our Indigenous people and Métis have told us from day one. Yet our manufacturers and developers and all things are they push their industry, and the dollar and everything is driving everything, and understanding that they're destroying everything in its path, that they leave behind, the waste, and the understanding that we need to take care of what we've got. And artists like yourself, I think, bring that out in people, understanding that it's important, and it's important to come from Métis and Indigenous artists to tell us more about what they know, and understand. And I think it takes a while for someone back away a little bit and do some other things that, I mean, there's all kinds of artists, but is that maybe one of your goals? Is that kind of education with your kids that you teach and do?
Yeah, I do talk to them about that kind of stuff. We talk about it, but I find here the kids know that already.
Right.
Like the community I live in has a high Indigenous population, and the schools have a what they call an Indigenous focus. So they teach that kind of thing in the schools when they teach science. And so they bring it to the schools. But what I find with this whole salmon and bear thing, and I haven't yet figured out how to bring it forward into a piece of art, but you go and walk along a creek bed that's got a salmon run attached to it, or a river that's got a salmon run attached to it, and the fish kind of wash up to the shore, the dead ones, right?
Yeah.
And they let them sit there and rot. Nobody cleans it up. Yeah. And on the prairies, I'm not used to that because we never saw that on the prairies.
Right.
And so you'll be walking around and you go, oh, salmon run. You can smell it, right? You can smell it. It's got a distinct smell.
Yeah.
So when you go outside, like on the island here, there's like, where I live, there's 8 or 9 different salmon runs.
Okay.
Throughout the whole year.
Oh,
so
okay.
you go outside at certain times and all you can smell is dead fish.
Yeah. So the salmon will run not just in the spring.
No, they run several times.
Yeah. Okay. That's important to know. I didn't realize that. I thought they were mostly a spring run on the different rivers, but it's, understanding that it's a very unique thing. I mean, I used to live in BC. I was born in Comox, but when I went back there in 2015 and 16, I hadn't been there since for many, many years. That smell, like you said, it brings you back instantly. Like smells are so strong, a sensory thing for you. And I've always tried to, if I did a workshop, to tell people to try and paint the smells in the area as well, because if you capture that, you capture everything. And if you can, the light is one thing, but if this one has got a feeling that I can understand it. It's a step process. Maybe if you look at it multiple times, you get a little bit more out of it each time. That it's a bear and a salmon, but now we talked about just that little sensory smell in the air. That's an added value too. That doesn't mean roll it in a salmon and hang it on your wall, but it's kind of, if you've been to a salmon run, you'd have the smell. When you went home and saw this painting, that smell might follow you to remember when you saw the paint. So this is what I'm saying, the sensory thing of a visual. It's really important to, if you can capture that, the moment. And sort of like a nice sunset. And if you've had a pleasant day and then it's wintertime and you look up and you see this lovely sunset and the chair on the beach and it kind of takes you back there. Another reason to do that. Now, do you have anything else to tell us about your work and where you're going? Is there some shows coming up that you're in?
Oh, there'll be another show in April, and that'll be a big show. And so I'm working on trying to come up with something unique and interesting for that.
Yeah. No.
Where
is that show?
It's in in Sydney.
Oh, it's in Sydney on the island. Yeah. Okay. Well, we look forward to you telling us a little bit more about that show. Look forward to seeing the work that you do. I'm so inspired by what you do. It's just like I have to get my brush out and start painting and get going again. But I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about your work. And we wish you much health and continuing of your work. It's a pleasure talking with you. And thank you very much. I'll bring David back in. There he is. Where is he? Where's David? No, David. There's David. He's coming back in. There he's back.
Yeah. Wow. What can I say?
Yeah, pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You,
I'm very rarely speechless, but I don't know what to say, Deborah. I mean, I can't, you know, I can't draw two lines, but just to see your work is just truly remarkable.
you always have that magic questions to ask people.
I
I'm
do,
leaving
yeah.
you.
And I just wonder, Deborah, if people wanted to
I
buy
didn't
your
hear
work,
David.
if people wanted to buy your work, what sort
Can
of
you
price
hear
would it
David?
be?
No.
Can you hear David? She can't
No.
hear you, David. So you're
Okay, all right.
sorry.
Well,
Well, there's some kind of. I'll mention. David's going to ask you how much roughly does your artwork start at and kind of end at. There's people interested.
Well, I don't believe in paying a lot, charging a lot for my artwork, because I spend every day creating,
Yeah.
and it builds up. So anyway, it could go anywhere from about $180 to about $400 or $500.
Wow, very reasonable. Yes, very, very reasonable. Appreciate your time spending it with us. Again, I don't know if maybe you could hear David, but I'll speak on his behalf. On behalf of the TOF network, continue. We'll have our links below for the show, and please continue. We probably see you, and we'll see you next week.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's all we can say.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Until the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.